Vortrag ist auf Englisch, so I will switch now. This is the only session we have that is in English language. So if you need translation, you want to look it later, it will be on YouTube also with the subtitle. And I welcome our speakers here. It's Holger, Kay, and Arun. They will have this session today. It's great that you're here. I think we can get them on stage and let's get you started. Have fun. If you have any questions, post them in the Q&A section. We'll be happy to answer them in the last couple of minutes of this session. So welcome, and here we go.
Thanks a lot. Before we start, one more sentence in German. Wenn ihr Fragen habt, könnt ihr auch gerne auf Deutsch reinschreiben. Wir können die gerne auch übersetzen. Der Grund, warum wir es in Englisch machen, Arun kommt aus USA, ist extra für uns hier früh aufgestanden und spricht leider nur Englisch. Demzufolge ist das auch der Hauptgrund. So back to English, Arun, I just tell them they can ask the question in German and we can translate for you. And first of all, thank you for having you here. And you are the early bird in this call because I think it's like 6 or 7 a.m., right? You get the coffee. You are a little star here in the next 40 minutes. Let me tell you a little bit background who we have on the call. Holger, you can see my presentation proper? Is it working?
Of course, we can see your presentation.
Awesome. So again, Arun, someone we're working with since a year about conversational AI in the Microsoft area. He will share his experience, his vision, and how he tackled this from a big organization point of view. Holger here on top of the slide is my most important technical brain in my team, let's say so. Without Holger, nothing works. And myself, I'm based in Hamburg. I'm a business developer for Microsoft Technology. Holger and Arun, feel free to say something to your person as well as we go. And we will start with Arun. I hand over and enjoy the session to everyone.
Thank you so much, Holger and Kay, for introducing me. And my name is Arun Thachi. I'm based out of US. And thank you so much to the audience for allowing me to speak in English. Unfortunately, I do not know Deutsch. So let me start. I'm assuming that you all hear about omnichannel buzzword nowadays, right? Like this is something like there's a new strategy among the marketing industry or marketing space. They started using this omnichannel. So just to give a context, what this omnichannel is basically an experience that we want to offer to the customer or consumers. Imagine you as a user goes to different channels, either it can be web, mobile, social media, some other channels. We want to keep you engaged, personalized, at the same time, continue the conversation where you left off, right? So giving this kind of a holistic omnichannel experience, that's our new strategy overall. Especially in the healthcare life science field as well. So that's our new goal, that we need to deliver exceptional customer experience through the omnichannel solutions. So behind the scenes, this is the strategy, right? Behind the scenes, imagine how many systems need to integrate to each other, how many systems talking the same language, exchanging the data, and etc. There's a huge uplift happening behind the scenes. And the goal to achieve this vision of this omnichannel solution, especially now, we are planning to introduce some sort of like 24/7, engage with our customers or consumers in a personalized way and generate some more insights and improve the model, right? Like improve the conversations. So that's our goal from the business standpoint. So then we were thinking, how can we achieve this kind of an engagement with our customer or consumers 24/7? Then this is where we are trying to leverage the AI. Conversational AI, yes, you all know, that's best known for driving by itself through the data and data modeling and machine learning. And we're converting this conversational AI as a bot factory. What is the term of bot factory? We will soon cover it in the upcoming slides. Next slide, please. So our go-to-market strategy is conversational AI as a bot factory. By coining this, we were facing a lot of issues that, okay, what is the business is going to know or aware of this? What kind of data that we have? Since we will be needing new contents to put in this conversational AI, either chatbot, digital assistants, a virtual assistant, we need a new type of content. And where this content coming from? Do we have enough data to create the content, new type of content? Do we have enough processes to capture the data as well, right? And then the use cases. More often now, we were getting use cases from different countries within our company businesses with different content. They want different use cases with different channels. There's a different business stakeholders. One country is totally different from other country from the use case standpoint. And most often we were receiving this chatbot or digital assistant request as a liking. Okay, we would like to have a chatbot. There is no necessity as of now to have a chatbot, right? Like these are like some of the challenges that we were facing from the business, and also we also have the challenges on the IT side as well. How do we build this kind of an fantastic AI platform that can give us the less time to market? That means we need to kind of build, ship, and operate in a less time so that we can go to the market faster from the solutioning standpoint. And also, this platform should be evolving over the period of time, right? Sustainability standpoint, as you may aware, the AI context that we spoke about maybe like 10 years back is totally different before 5 years back, and now the AI is like kind of completely evolved what we saw yesterday. So that kind of an evolving happening, and we also need to keep the platform sustainable as well, because a lot of investment we will be making, not only the resources, skills, upskilling the people, integrations, investment on the IT and etc. And last but not least, this is what every companies like to do. How do you scale these solutions at lower operating cost? So these are the challenges that we were facing when we thought of implementing the go-to strategy to achieving the goal of how can we engage with our customers 24/7. Next slide, please. So these are the challenges behind our scenes, and we did a lot of homework to find out what kind of tactics that we could do to solve these challenges, right? So the first thing what we noticed to tackle the issues of every business is coming with separate use cases, separate chatbots. So imagine if we are doing business in 100 different countries, and each country is having some multiple products, they may ask like 100 different chatbots. We cannot manage 100 or 1,000 chatbots on a platform. It would be like overkill. So first thing what we did, we kind of switched the gear. We changed our perception of chatbot into digital assistant. Instead of delivering the digital assistant, chatbots to each of the channel, either web, mobile, social media. So we changed it to, we know the customer. The customer is kind of unique across the channel. So we changed the strategy as digital assistant per customer, not a chatbot per channel, but our strategy is digital assistant per customer. So then the question comes, okay, how can we deliver, how can we engage with these customers with the contents? So this is where the use case comes from the different businesses. If any business comes with the use case of, okay, I want to engage with this customer with this content, then we will take this use case and we enhance their knowledge base or enhance the content behind the scenes instead of building as a new chatbot. So the digital assistant is a single touch point for the customer, and behind the scenes, each use case will be the knowledge base of the content we will be adding as a skill to the chatbot. So that's our strategy that we changed it. And then another tactics that from the scaling standpoint, we coined as a bot factory. So what this means, we do operate in global level and also like we operate in corporate level. So what we did, we were planning to create like two different templates, one from the global template and one from the local template. So what this means, global template meaning that like there's a common features of the digital assistants that needing in anywhere in the world that we launch the digital assistant. So those kind of features will go into the global template, and then any local country specific requirements or features will go into the local template. Combinedly, we plan to do an automated spin up through the scripts. So that way, if anyone wants to have a chatbot for a new customer, we just simply like spin up the template, then that will give you the vanilla digital assistant or the basic digital assistant. And from there, we will enhance by applying the local template, what is needed for the local country. And as part of this bot factory, we also introduced like a omnichannel ecosystem APIs. So what this means, we have a different systems kind of coordinating, operating, talking to each other. So we need some kind of an API, contextless, to enrich the data, engage with the customers. So we also introduced like an ecosystem APIs behind the scenes as part of the bot factory model. And the last but not least, based on the users, based on the customer or consumer's nature of engagement, we introduced voice, text, and hybrid. Why voice, text, and hybrid? It's not because we give all options. For an example, in the life science, some patients may have some sort of like a ulcer in their fingers. They cannot scroll either in the mobile, or they cannot really use the mouse, right? Like patients are like sometimes less tech savvy, so we need to kind of give them kind of a accessibility to these contents. So we created voice. Sometimes we have a hybrid approach. It's an option for the customers or patients to use whatever the way they want to engage with our contents. So these are the tactics that we used to attack our go-to-market strategy to build the conversational AI platform. Next slide, please. So if you look at quickly like a snapshot, this is very, very high level eagle view level. So how we started off as a few years back, we started off as we researched a lot of AI platform in the market, including Amazon. And then we found out that since we will be launching this globally, we need to have support, global support with different language supports. Hence, we choose the Microsoft Azure platform. We started off as the bot factory SDKs. Literally, we were coding in Node.js, or we were coding in C#. Every conversations we were writing through the SDKs, and behind the scenes we used the Q&A maker and Lewis. And then a few years later, we came to know that, oh, there's a bot factory composer launched by the Microsoft, so we could use to kind of minimize some of the development effort. So then we moved from the SDK based libraries based development work to BFC, bot framework composer. We started doing some kind of designing the bot, designing the flows through the bot framework composer. And we kept the behind the scenes of the cognitive services such as Lewis, Q&A maker as is, but really it helped us to reduce a lot of development effort. And then recently we came to know that like, oh, Microsoft roadmap is going away from the bot framework composer. They want to merge into the Power Platform. They want to use the Power Virtual Agent as the frontier, as a frontliner. And behind the scenes, we could also use the bot framework composer skills in order to talk to a lot of cognitive services. Hence, again, we had to do another pivot, because it's not that we liked it, but we had to stay with the roadmap of Microsoft. We've been heavily invested and heavily relying on the Microsoft platform. So we pivoted again to go through this hybrid approach of using the Power Virtual Agent and BFC skills. And we kept the we upgraded the cognitive services. Like if you notice, we are moving from Lewis Q&A maker to language understanding services. So these are our journeys that we kind of traveled from where we started, where we are now. At present, we are in the PVA, pivoted hybrid approach as of today. Next slide, please. So what are the key takeaways? So I'm not going to go through every bullet points, but I'll give you like high level. It's very important, since the AI space is evolving, conversational AI space is evolving. Every time there's a model kind of improvising by itself, including the GPT-3, Whisper. So then ready to pivot. Make sure that you keep your mind open, ready to pivot. You also need to go back and convince your stakeholders, including business, saying that, hey, by the way, there's a new thing is coming, ready for the change, right? This change includes the technical debt that we need to kind of deliver as part of the platform from the technology standpoint. And then the market awareness. Keep an eye, ears open. What is going on in the conversational AI space and the roadmap? It's very important, because we don't want to fall behind. Then our and the system will become legacy. Then we have to really migrate from one platform to another platform. And the last one, which is very important, is that this is the perception of business involving the conversational AI platform is totally different from what they have involved in before. For an example, in the past, if you want to build a website, if you want to build some kind of a solution, it's one-time build. Business will build with us, and then they'll go and do their business-related work. IT will manage the system. But now it's not the case. If you notice, these models, this conversational AI needs to be constantly reviewed, trained with data, and then we need to kind of put it into the market. So IT or technology is not having that much of data knowledge. So business has to kind of work with us hand in hand on daily basis. Look at these kind of utterances, exceptions. What was responded good with the AI? What was not responded good with AI? And then you need to train the model in periodic basis. That's very key here for the AI to succeed. If you do not train the models, it will be like a unsuccessful or less engagement. One of the reasons is that we do not have enough data to train by itself over the X period of time. It could be like 6 months or 3 months or 1 year. It's all based on how many people or how many customers or users started using a platform, how much of data that we collected to do the engagement and insights. And of course, we need to partner with the Microsoft and the technology partner. We are like a big life science company. We are not having any expertise, knowledge on AI. So we have to leverage the Microsoft and technology partner to keep us up to date and keep this moving forward. These are the key lessons learned that we like to share with you. And with that, thanks so much for the opportunity for sharing this. I'll turn it back to Kay to continue. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Arun. This is it was a perfect introduction for me. Some people might wonder because it's called, the session's called Leverage Microsoft Teams over here. And here the beauty is what you just heard is like really a marketing sales expert looking always on omnichannel to outside the organization. Holger and I normally, because of our jobs, looking always inside the organization through the interface of Microsoft Teams. And the true is, it's the same problem. It's a like through Microsoft Teams and other tools, there is also an omni-channel understanding needs to be implemented in organization, because it's not just matching and bringing the right channel and the user and understand the user from outside. It's also bridging the gap to the inside of the people, because experts are rarely there, and you have to bring maybe a user to the expert who is sitting very unknown in an organization. So omni-channel as a buzzword, as Arun said so nicely, becomes a very complicated topic, even in the employee experience. And I just spoke on the speaker table with some guys about Viva sales and all this direction. It's all the same thing. Like, how do we bring people together to create more things? And out of this perspective, before I go into the business planning, and Holger is proving this through some demos, I want to share also like our learnings straight ahead from the last 5 years, actually, because we have seen a lot of bad factories. But we also have seen good factories. I will not take you to all the points. I will leverage a few one, but I want to like deep from my heart a few one, which really is a conversation with a lot of clients. Very often when we engaging with these projects, we spending massive of time discussing with clients and partners what they will get out of the data and which data they want to capture once they have a good bot, AI, whatever you want. And I can tell you, you can forget any discussion we had so far. The result was always different. It's like nobody can predict what you get out of this data. I can actually promise you, you will get something out, no doubt. And you will be surprised with much little data, you can actually make such a big assumption on your user and omnichannel behavior. So you don't need so much data to make conclusion. But we see that a lot of time and money and energy is wasted to discuss something which is not there at all. I will show you later a screenshot from our lab with very little data, and you can already, like, your brain will start thinking what you can do out of it. No? A key learning is really, and it's a trap with AI, because we have all seen all the science fiction. Like I can give you, for promise, like we give 5 demos to a user, he will come with 100 of use cases, and most of the time the people not picking up where they wanna, where the user is. That means like they're always users want to solve their problem. They're not thinking about the person who they want to help, and then they're coming up with the wrong use cases. So I can tell you, like, think harder about the user when you're approaching these topics in Microsoft Teams for an omnichannel. It's really and Holger can confirm this. I can show you. I give you an example in a second how you can really very fast fail there. Yeah. The third point 3 I want to make mention, and I ran this session by my wife yesterday, and she asked me to stress this 100 times. when your wife tells you have to stress something, you stress something. No? But I was thinking last night about this. No? You will always start wrong. Whatever you do the first bot run, it will not be successful. You should actually build in your project the first 2 sprints to fail. Imagine you would set up a project where the first 2 sprint is like planned to be sunk costs. Amazing, because the first use case will be wrong anyway. But once you start and every manager is expecting some outcome out of the first 2 sprints, you're taking from the teams the opportunity away to learn in the first 2 weeks. and then they tend to keep going to keep the project alive with the wrong idea. So think hard about like how do you implement failure and promote failure in projects and do it as fast as possible, because in every single bot project we have done in the last 5 years, the first bot never got alive, never ever, because, and I will come later to this, a team first needs to learn what's the best outcome. Yeah? Let me jump to the next one, and I give some examples in a matter of time. Maybe point 7 is an interesting one. Also from Arun's team, we learn. Forget everything about user design. Something maybe people haven't really thought about it. Once you introduce AI, you experimenting with our human tools, our voice, our understanding, our how we say something, how we consume something. Just from Arun's team, someone said like, should I answer differently to a young person or to an older person or a handicapped person? This has nothing to do with colors and button and how to design an app on a user interface. It's really like how do we create a unique experience so they feel comfortable using it and getting value out of it and are not scared. And we're using a term with one of our partners from UK actually, which we call human parity. So because once people understand, oh, it's a different thing and it's AI and we want to like create something great and be the next Tesla and create a new robot who can dance on his own. No, the AI needs to have the same skills as a human, but should never be human. And the key learning was 3 years ago where we actually created an AI who consumed 7,000 web pages and created the answer on his own. And the answer was always correct, but nobody liked it. It's exactly like how we phrase a question. I can say the most German famous example is when a husband and a wife are at a red traffic jam and it gets green and doesn't see it. It's green. Darling, it's green. Would you like to go on? There's so many levels of a question we understand, or like how sending a message. We have a lot of knowledge from our school, but we have very little knowledge about answers, like how to receive an answer, how an answer feels, and all these kind of things it needs to be involved before approach to have a successful one. So think hard about this one. I want to leverage a few on these points. You can read them later also and make your own thoughts about it. But a few ones I really want to pick out because I want to give you some real example. So I wrote this down here as like, there is something called the golden use case. The golden use case is a use case which provides benefits instantly. You don't have to train anyone to use it. Everybody wants to use this use case because it's providing benefits. And to get this one, you need something which I call a diverse team. And we have in our team, we have this kind of teams, but they're very unique because you have to look from different angles. And by diverse, I don't need just like old, young, and so on. I also mean like different skills in the sense of like someone who's more maybe an extroverted guy, or someone wants to buy all the time, like soft skills, basically. Different soft skills needs to be in the team to actually find this golden use case. And this team should not just be diverse between male and female and different preferences. They should also have never the goal to sell you a product. So they can truly think free. And I can tell you, like, once this, and I give you an example here. I give you first a bad one because a bot which has actually built with us and we want them. A team which is not diverse and make a decision on a use case, just helping themselves, was a bot who was able to transfer a chat during business hours to an agent on a hidden Q&A page. And the bot had no Q&A skills at all. So the only what was doing, you have to find them first. You go to Q&A page, there are a lot of information to provide. You go to the bot and you say hi, and you get in a waiting queue, waiting for the agent to be free to pick up the chat. This is a perfect outcome. A diverse team would have never accepted this. They would have fought it to death not to build this, because the user was expecting something like, he was expecting an answer on the first place, not getting in the queue line. And this, what I mean is, like, when you're building teams and start approaching slowly these topics, you need creativity, you need design thinking capabilities, you have to study behavior of users. Super important. Another very maybe a positive example, which it's one of my favorite, inspired by Holger and me, implemented in a different way. They sent out letters on a QR code, and then the user with a phone scanned the QR code and got exactly what he needed for this particular letter. 8,000 users from one day to the other. That's a golden use case where you help the user instantly, you're picking up where he is, and everybody's happy and wins. Less cost, better user experience, and so on. Another one which we tend to see in a lot of projects, big, small, doesn't matter, when it comes to in-house, on-premise, should I have like all these kind of conversations like, oh, I want to have it on-premise because GDPR and it's safer, and all these discussions we know. No? There's a key learning we learned over the last 5 years. If you want to be fast, you have to go for software as a service. You're like setting up AI infrastructure, bot infrastructures to get fast, to change the use case all the time. And as Arun said, you have to track it, you have to train it, to speed the little resources up to make something good out of it. SaaS is, in our opinion, or my opinion, the only approach to go for, also because it keeps your operation cost very low. However, sometimes fast is not the only one. Sometimes you want to be the first. Then you go for PaaS. Then you go straight onto Azure. What Arun just presented us, the strategy for the last 1 year, exploring Azure, finding out many details, and so on. And then you're definitely faster than the rest of the market, because once it's in PaaS, it might come one day in SaaS, or maybe there's a hybrid version between PaaS and SaaS. And a good example here is one of our clients, I can't say the name, is like build on PaaS, complex also compliance requirement, which I want to put aside at the moment, but they have a voice bot on the same technology who does 900 calls in 5 languages around Europe. No? Very complex and very successful, but there's one downside on something like when you be the first, you need high trained AI skills, you need a specialized managed service. It's not very available on the market. It's not commodity, economy of scales is not happening, and which is fine. But I can tell you, like, to make a change on this system, it takes sometimes 2 to 3 weeks, not because it's difficult. The change takes 5 minutes, but it takes 5 parties to come in an agreement to do it. So it's more like the complexity to get all the experts on one table in a simple change process. Looking at the watch, maybe a last one here, which is also very important and normally very high level discussed on an ethical AI kind of thing. I mean, Holger and me strongly believe when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we also should talk about natural intelligence, us basically. And we have now with one of our partners in UK live, we have one bot on the same technology who's replacing an IVR. You remember, no? Press 1, press 2 on the phone. And it's a very successful bot, high success rate, and the bot is only on number 6. And now we can see what the people are asking, and we can see live how they're trying to bypass the IVR. And a lot of times when we're talking on a high level with the IT and the business department, they underestimate how smart users are. And this technology helps us to actually realize how smart users are, because they don't like this press 1, press 2, and they're trying to bypass it or go straight to the bot to get the work done. So this is a key learnings from our side, which we're contributing now to Arun and trying to make a merge out of these two experiences, someone who's more looking from a marketing perspective and us from a workplace perspective. Very important, and then Holger will prove this with a demo. This is more like my role in the team at the moment. How do we make a good business plan out of it? And this slide here, I want to stay for a minute, is a slide out of 3 different projects. So we haven't found the holy grail to bring this in one slide. On the left side, where you see more cost approach, is like high volume bots from an internal use case, internal help desks, reset my password, HR bots, name it. No? There's a lot of ideas how you can serve a user through Teams in an internal use cases. Here's more from a contact center perspective, from a high volume case. And they all have one in common. They're focusing on costs. They want to return. They want to create and return on investment, only looking at the costs. And when we look at these use cases and we're introducing this technology, we're trying to mix up these different channels in an omni-channel approach, because as I said in the use case before, users are very smart. They might try to bypass your IVR just to ask for the opening timing, which is very easily available and cheap available on any other channel. However, if I want to have complaint and I want to, maybe there's a bill not paid and so on, then a face-to-face, he should bypass everything face-to-face to not lose his client. So on the lower part, you see like a ratio from one client, how we're trying to influence the channel with the AI to get a result. It's not about introducing a new channel or introducing AI to the user itself to leave them alone. No, it's like guiding the user as well, the people in the background. Holger and I have this joke, like making human Supermans. Like whenever they interact with someone, there should be an answer. On the other side, which is normally not very well documented and reflected in business cases, is actually what's are the benefits, like how do you can improve the engagement rate, how much better is the service, and put this into an return on investment calculation to make a decision. Is really like we haven't done any case like where everything is combined, because it becomes actually a multi variable optimization problem. But I can tell you, and this is why we have sometimes trouble to explain the world, you can lower the cost and improve the service at the same time, and people tend to not believe it. I hope Holger's demo will prove, at least to you, it is possible. Because then you have two things in your business case which are normally conflicting in the way of working how we do it. You have a cost thing, everybody understands, but everybody's worried. Releasing people, what is my job, and so on. But the benefits are not reflected in this, because there is a lack of professionals. Nobody should and gets actually released because the service is good. It's more like, okay, you finally have free time to provide a better service to your employees, colleagues, and users. But it becomes a conversation of like asking, question, understanding, and not just hit the goal, hit the target, drop the call, get the call queue down. That they're not the metrics anymore we're looking at. And that's why we believe AI in a Teams and omnichannel environment is an absolute game changer, because we now can address multiple goals. And here, just to prove it, and then I give over to Holger with a demo. Like this is a screenshot from our demo lab. This is not a live. Normally I show from a live client, but this time I decide like to give some real experience. This is out of our lab while the users are working on a bot. And you can see the metrics, total amount of session, engagement rate, resolution rate, escalation rate, and so on. And it already tells us, should we continue to deliver, to develop and rethink the use case or not? Out of this simple data. This is on the right side, you see like the build session and how much we got paid for this. And this is like, this is $90. This 900 costs 90 euros. It's accessible to Teams with PVA and so on. We can already have an idea how good this use is. This a golden use case or not? This is like fail fast and don't worry about the data. These key learning points. Like have a very low cost team running over a long time until these numbers go high. Because then if you release this one, if you get these numbers higher in the development team, 100%, if you give it out to the users, you have a jackpot. Like my example with the letter. This is how we thinking about this, and nothing on PowerPoint is true until you see it. So be the demo gods with us, Holger.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Arun. So first of all, I have to apologize. My microphone is very sensitive today, and I already read the complaints about my background noise. Sorry for it. My mic and AirMeet seems not to be very compatible. So I share my screen and try not to move too many or too often during my session, so you will not be disturbed by my movements. So let's go to the presentation. As we said before, we do some live demo. Not everything is live today. Something is pre-recorded because demonstrating phone calls during a phone session is not as easy as it could be. Everything what I demo today and the backgrounds about it can be seen within the blog written to my name, right to my name. So if you have some interest in how to build something like this, you can find descriptions within the little blog. Before I start with my demonstration, I would give you some questions you could ask yourself. Think back to the last time you received an excellent customer service. What made it special? Was it the tone, the length, the person who answered you or helped you? How long did the interaction last? Was it short? Was it long? And one more question, and I think this is the most important one. Who helped you, a human or a machine? The answer to the last question might be either. Machines have the gift of gap and getting better daily. And keep this in mind while I demo you some demo cases on a phone or on a website. The first two ones will be on a phone. And we use PVA and some little other technology to bring PVA to voice. First for an outbound call. It's just a reminder. Maybe you know the situation. A client booked a session with you and didn't show up. Why not remind a client before a session to come or to join you during the session? The second one is just a customer service example, a voice bot in front of a human contact center. Our contact center agents then live in teams, and we put a message from the bot to the Teams agent. And you will see it now or hear it within the demo. First, let's start with the outbound call. I hope you can hear it. Kai, you can give me a yes and a no if it's working.
I would like to remind you.
Oh, sorry, we should start from the beginning. Incoming call.
Good afternoon. I am Ted, a virtual assistant. I am calling for NTT. I would like to remind you of your appointment. Do I talk to Mr. Holger Imbery?
Yes.
Can you make the appointment with us tomorrow, 8:30 a.m.?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you. Please remember to bring along your documents completely filled out. Goodbye.
Not a very perfect dialogue, not a very human-to-human dialogue. But the case was just to remind a user. So why not use a voice bot for it instead of a human calling another human reminding on an appointment? Next one, a voice bot sitting in front of a contact center. Sometimes people ask exactly the same question twice, 1,000 times, million times to a contact center agent. Why not putting a voice bot in front of the contact center, asking some questions and giving some answers to questions like FAQs? And again, I will play this little phone demo.
Hi, I'm a virtual agent. You can talk to me like you would talk to a human. If you'd like to speak to a human agent, let me know at any time. So, what can I help you with today?
Find me your nearest location.
I'd be glad to help find a store near you. Which location are you interested in? We are in Frankfurt, Stuttgart, or Munich.
Frankfurt.
Our Frankfurt store, located in Horekstrasse, 7-61352 Bad Homburg. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Can I help with anything else?
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I want to talk to sales.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to order a bucket of peanuts for pickup in Frankfurt store.
Please give me your customer number.
4799.
I connect you to sales. Please hold the line. So it was the voice bot asking some questions and then doing the things normally IVR would do. It plays the call to the human agent. And what happens in background, a Teams pop-up will come up with a little message. Hey, dear agent in the queue, it's Holger Imbery with his customer number. He wants to buy something, here in this example, a bucket of peanuts, and you want to pick up in the Frankfurt store. And yes, you see, sometimes voice AI is not very precise. Sometimes it looks some bugs in it. So Frankfurt is written wrong, but it doesn't matter. So the agent can click on Open CRM, sees a record of the calling customer, and can confirm the order directly. Next one I want to show you is live. Let's go for a web chat, also done within PVA, and I would like to show you some translating examples. We often have the situations that agents or employees or even bots do only speak one language at the point. Why not leverage language understanding services out of Azure within our PVA or in our sessions within Teams? So for example, we would ask, or I would like to ask this bot an English question, and everything in this bot is in English. So all the answers are in English. I have no different language trained. I use just some translation service out of Azure. So for example, if I ask the same question in Dutch language, the bot will automatically identify the language Dutch and give me the answer translated from English to Dutch back into the chat. It's pure language understanding services and translation services. There is no need to put different language answers into your database. And of course, we see all the European languages in, and even languages with different letters are easily to understand. Again, here, same question in a different language and come back in the same language
Holger,
as an answer.
short interruption here. You have here 5 minutes left. So
Thank you.
Thank you. No issue at all, because I will now come to my last demo. And again, it's a text chat. I will refresh it for you. And I want to show you some sentiment elements. For example, if you are in a text chat bot and would like to answer very precise to a feedback, or give an answer to a feedback, or a reaction to a feedback, you want to do it very precise, why not use sentiment analysis? And I will show you a little demo on it for how to do it. For example, if a customer wants to give feedback and said, okay, I will give you a very positive one, then you should analyze the whole text. And it was a very positive one, so you should say thank you for the positive feedback you got. And if it's a negative one, you should also directly answer in the correct way and say, oh, sorry, we could not fulfill your requirements, and we want to make it better in future. So why not put sentiment analysis to it? And it's easy. You see, it's so easy to put PVA, Power Automate, and some Azure services under the hood to combine everything and give a user a really satisfying dialogue experience. And what I showed you within the last minutes is everything you can do right now with PVA, with Azure services, on your phone, in Teams, in every place, in every channel, and it's possible. So it was not a future outlook of Arun and Kay the minutes before. It's possible. You can do it right now. And back to Kay.
Yeah. Nothing to add since the time is running. So, when I was preparing so as Arun slide, I think like personalized engagement 24/7, generate data from inside, and support customers and employees and consumers with conversational AI in Microsoft Teams is actually something we are very excited about.
Perfect. Thanks, guys, for this great insight into AI, and especially to leverage it in Teams. I'm pretty curious what we will see on this topic in the next couple of years, and even what Microsoft makes possible in addition to what is already there. I think there is a lot potential in it, and we will sure see a couple of these technologies in the following Team Summit in January also. So thanks a lot. As I see, there are right now no open questions in the Q&A section. If nothing pops up in the next couple of seconds, I would say we switch to the next session.
Yep. We will hang on the speaker table for a bit who wants to ask direct questions.
Sure. If you have any questions to these guys, just go to the speaker table in the lounge. and we see each other in a couple of minutes in the next session. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, guys.
you.
It's nice meeting you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
event.
Good day. Bye-bye.